The conference room felt smaller than usual that Tuesday morning. My project proposal glowed on the screen behind Karen's desk. 6 months of late nights, crash systems, and breakthrough code reduced to 43 slides. She smiled at the team and said the words that changed everything. Let's all thank Derek for leading this incredible innovation. My hands went cold. Derek sat 3 chairs down, looking as confused as I felt. I built that system. Every line, every function, every debugging session at 2 in the morning. Karen's eyes met mine for half a second. That smile wasn't friendly. It was a warning. The room erupted in applause. My jaw locked tight. My name wasn't anywhere on those slides. Not in the credits. Not in the acknowledgments. Nowhere. Derek mumbled something about teamwork. Karen cut him off smoothly, praising his leadership vision. I sat there feeling my stomach twist into knots. This wasn't a mistake. This was deliberate. This was her erasing me in front of everyone who mattered. The meeting ended, and people filed out talking about lunch plans. Derek approached me, scratching his neck nervously. Hey Marcus, she mentioned you helped with some back-end stuff, right? Helped. I stared at him. Helped. 6 months became some back-end stuff in one sentence. Karen walked past trailing expensive perfume and confidence. She paused just long enough to say it. Support roles are important too, Marcus. Not everyone can be a visionary leader. The words hit like a slap. Support roles. I gripped the edge of the conference table to keep my hands from shaking. The projector hummed above us, still displaying my stolen work. People laughed in the hallway about something unrelated. Everything felt distant and sharp at the same time. I wanted to shout. I wanted to flip that table. Instead, I stood there silent, watching her walk away, like nothing had happened. That burning feeling in my chest wouldn't go away. It sat there, heavy and hot. 3 months before that meeting, things were different. I was the quiet guy at Bridgepoint Systems who fixed impossible problems. I didn't need attention. I just wanted fair treatment and respect for the work I did. Karen had just gotten promoted to director. She praised me once in front of a whole department, called me the backbone of our infrastructure team. I felt proud that day. But something shifted after that. Slowly, carefully, she started taking credit for things I built. First it was small, mentioning my solutions as her ideas in emails. Then it got bigger, presenting my reports as her strategic insights. Other people noticed, but nobody said anything. It's just politics, Marcus, one coworker told me. You gotta play the game. But I saw what she was really doing. She was building her reputation on my silent labor, one stolen success at a time. The first Real cut came during a planning session. Karen scheduled a strategy meeting about the new client database project. My project. The one I had pitched to her directly. The meeting invite went to everyone except me. I only found out because Tyler mentioned it at lunch. Wait, you're not going to the database meeting? I checked my calendar. Nothing. I asked Karen about it later. She barely looked up from her phone. Oh Marcus, I didn't think this level of discussion required your technical input. We need big picture thinking. She said it so casually, like it was obvious. Like I was too small for strategy. I went back to my desk and worked late fixing the disaster that came from that meeting. They made decisions that broke 3 different systems. I cleaned it up without complaining. But I started doing something new. I began saving copies of everything. Every email, every project file, every piece of evidence showing what I actually built. The humiliation became public on a Friday afternoon. We had a department briefing with the summer interns watching. Karen was talking about leadership qualities when she suddenly smiled at me. Some people are just better suited for execution than vision, right, Marcus? The interns laughed nervously. A few senior staff chuckled too. I forced myself to smile, to act like it was a friendly joke. But my hand tightened around my coffee cup until the plastic cracked slightly. I felt something break inside me that wasn't about pride. It was deeper. It was the realization that she was trying to keep me small on purpose. That this wasn't about efficiency or roles. It was about control. About making sure I stayed beneath her. The meeting dragged on for another 20 minutes. I didn't hear any of it. I just kept thinking about that laugh. About how easily people joined in when someone in power decided you were the joke. 2 weeks later, Karen called me into her glass office. The kind with walls you can see through so everyone watches your humiliation. She didn't waste time. Marcus, I'm reassigning you to systems maintenance effective immediately. Derek will take over the innovation projects. My throat went dry. Systems maintenance was grunt work. Keeping servers running. Updating security patches. The job they gave to people right out of college. Karen kept talking like she was doing me a favor. You'll be supporting the team's groundbreaking work from a foundational level. I heard what she actually meant. You'll do the invisible work while others get the glory. I stared past her at the city skyline. Buildings stretched toward gray clouds. Everything felt far away. I finally managed to say one word. Understood. She smiled, satisfied. I walked out of that glass box knowing everyone had watched it happen. My demotion in high definition. That night, everyone else went home at 5. I stayed. The office became quiet except for the hum of computers and air conditioning. I sat at my desk in the blue glow of my monitor and opened a new project file. I named it Freeline. I wasn't sure what it would become yet. Not revenge exactly. Not sabotage. Just something that was mine. Something she couldn't take. I started writing code. Simple at first. Automation scripts for the boring maintenance tasks Karen dumped on me. But as I worked, I felt something shift. This could be more than just shortcuts. This could be freedom. I worked until midnight, then drove home with my head buzzing with possibilities. For the first time in weeks, I felt something other than anger. I felt purpose. Karen wanted me doing grunt work? Fine. I would turn that grunt work into something powerful. Over the next few weeks, I noticed things I never paid attention to before. Bridgepoint Systems was full of broken processes. Tasks that took hours could be done in minutes with proper automation. Reports that required 3 people could be generated automatically. Karen ignored all of it because fixing it didn't make her look innovative. It just made work easier for regular employees. So I started building solutions in secret. Every inefficiency became a challenge. Every bottleneck became an opportunity. Freeline grew from a simple script into a real system. It learned patterns. It predicted problems. It automated decisions that humans did slowly and inconsistently. I wasn't just maintaining systems anymore. I was reimagining how work could happen without power-hungry managers micromanaging everything. The code felt clean. Honest. It did exactly what it promised without games or politics. I became obsessive about documentation. Every time Karen took credit for someone's work, I recorded it. Every complaint from exhausted staff about her impossible demands, I noted it. Every lie she told in meetings, I saved the contradicting emails. My personal drive filled with evidence. Timestamp files showing who really built what. Messages proving she knew the truth, but chose to lie anyway. I never leaked any of it. Never even hinted that I was keeping records. I just quietly built a paper trail that told the real story. This wasn't about revenge yet. It was about protection. About making sure that when the moment came, the truth would have proof. Karen played politics like a game she was winning. But she didn't know I was playing a different game entirely. One where facts mattered more than performance. Everything changed when Tyler found me working late on Freeline. He was the only person at Bridgepoint who still treated me like I mattered. He looked at my screen, and his eyes went wide. "Marcus, what is this?" I hesitated, then showed him what Freeline could do. I ran a demonstration that automated an entire week of his scheduling work in 4 minutes. He just stared. "This is incredible. Why are you hiding it?" "Because Karen would take it," I said simply. We looked at each other and something unspoken passed between us. Tyler pulled up a chair. "Show me how it works." We spent 3 hours testing Freeline on real problems. Tyler helped me refine the interface and catch bugs I missed. For the first time in months, I wasn't alone. That night, driving home, I smiled. Really smiled. Not from revenge or anger. From hope. From knowing I had an ally and something worth protecting. Karen's control grew tighter over the following month. She canceled team lunches, saying we needed to focus on productivity. She replaced casual collaboration with surveillance. Every outgoing email needed approval. Every project decision required her sign-off. Innovation died. People stopped suggesting ideas because Karen would either steal them or reject them to maintain power. The office became quiet in a bad way. Not peaceful. Tense. I watched the department I once loved turn into something cold and fearful. Morale crashed. 2 good developers quit without notice. Others started sending out resumes. Karen acted like everything was fine, but I saw the cracks. Her tight control was breaking the team. I kept my head down, did my maintenance work, and built Freeline stronger every night. Tyler fed me information about which processes frustrated people most. We turned complaints into features. Every problem became a solution waiting to be coded. The crisis came on a Wednesday morning. Derek's flagship project collapsed. The client database he was supposed to be leading had corrupted 3 weeks of data. Clients were locked out. Reports showed blank fields. The entire system was dying. Karen called an emergency meeting. Her face was tight with barely controlled panic. Derek looked like he might throw up. She went around the room demanding solutions. Nobody had answers. Finally, her eyes landed on me. Marcus, you're on systems maintenance. Fix this quietly. Don't make noise about it. Just make it work by Friday. That was 2 days away. Impossible for most people. But I nodded slowly. I'll do what I can. She dismissed everyone except me and Derek. Fix his mess, she hissed. Then she left Derek, standing there looking ashamed. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. This was my chance and we both knew it. I worked through Wednesday night testing Freeline on Derek's broken database. By Thursday morning, the errors were gone. Data restored. Systems running smooth. I documented everything with timestamps showing exactly when Freeline fixed each problem. Then I went home and slept for 4 hours. The Friday meeting was pure theater. Karen strutted in talking about crisis management and staying calm under pressure. She presented the restored database like she personally saved it. Everyone applauded. Derek smiled nervously. Nobody mentioned my name. I sat in the back row, silent. But before the meeting, I had sent myself an encrypted email with Freeline's complete logs. Timestamps. Code execution records. Proof that an automated system I built fixed everything while Karen slept. She took credit again. I just collected evidence. Tyler caught my eye across the room and nodded slightly. He understood. This was just the beginning. After that crisis, Tyler started calling Freeline the secret weapon. He saw its potential more clearly than I did. Marcus, you could run this entire company on this system. You could replace half the management layer. I laughed, but he was serious. I'm not trying to replace people, just broken processes. He shook his head. You're not seeing it. This doesn't just automate work. It removes the need for people like Karen. People who don't add value, just control. That night, I thought about what he said. He was right. Freeline didn't need managers. It needed clear goals and good data. It made decisions based on logic, not politics or ego. I started working on it differently after that. Not just as a tool, but as a complete alternative to the way we worked. Every feature became more powerful. Every function more independent. I was building something that could genuinely change everything. Karen's suspicion arrived on a Monday morning. She noticed Derek's project was running too smoothly. Systems that should have been fragile were suddenly stable. Reports generated faster than before. She called me into her office. How are the maintenance systems performing so well? I shrugged. Just optimizing processes manually. Finding efficiencies. Her eyes narrowed. She didn't believe me, but she couldn't prove anything. I need full access to every system you touch. I need to know exactly what you're doing. I kept my face blank. Everything's documented in the standard logs. She leaned forward. Don't get clever with me, Marcus. I know when people are hiding things. I met her stare. I'm just doing my job. Exactly what you assigned me to do. We looked at each other for a long moment. She finally dismissed me with a wave. I walked out knowing the clock was ticking. She sensed something was happening beyond her control, and that terrified her. The worst betrayal came during a client review meeting. One of our major accounts was threatening to leave because of repeated project delays. Not my fault. Not even Derek's fault. Pure management dysfunction. But Karen needed a scapegoat. She threw me under the bus in front of executives I respected. Marcus has been distracted lately, she said smoothly. I think the maintenance work might be overwhelming for him. His focus hasn't been what we need. Lies. Complete lies. But I sat there and took notes like nothing was wrong. The executives looked at me with disappointment. I wanted to scream the truth, to show them my documentation, to expose every lie Karen built her career on. Instead, I nodded professionally and said I would do better. The meeting ended. I walked out of that room different than I walked in. Not broken, just colder. The anger turned into something sharper and more patient. She wanted to destroy me slowly. I would let her think she was winning. I spent the next 3 weeks perfecting Freeline in complete secrecy. It became a fully self-sustaining system that could replace 3 entire departments. Scheduling, resource allocation, quality control, all automated with better accuracy than humans provided. Tyler helped me stress test it on shadow copies of real company data. Every test came back successful. While Karen bragged in meetings about her efficiency goals and strategic vision, I quietly wrote my resignation letter. I didn't plan to leave angry. I planned to leave free. The letter was simple and professional. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm pursuing other directions. 2 weeks notice provided. I saved it as a draft, but didn't send it yet. The timing had to be perfect. Tyler asked me when I was pulling the trigger. Soon I told him. When it'll hurt the most and help me most. He grinned. That's the Marcus I remember. The implosion happened during a live demonstration for corporate headquarters. Karen had scheduled a big showcase of her department's innovations. Executives flew in from 2 other cities. The conference room was packed. Derek was presenting the upgraded client system when everything crashed. Files corrupted. Screens went black. Error messages flooded the displays. The room fell into shocked silence. Karen's face drained of color. She looked at Derek. He looked at his laptop like it had betrayed him. Then her eyes found me in the back. Fix it, she mouthed desperately. I stood up slowly and walked to the front. Everyone watched. I examined the system for exactly 30 seconds. Then I looked at Karen and said clearly, "This is beyond saving with traditional methods." I plugged my laptop into the main display. Launched Freeline. The room watched as my system analyzed the corruption, identified the source, rerouted the data architecture, and restored everything in 42 seconds. The screens came back to life. Files repopulate. The system hummed smoothly. An executive in the front row leaned forward. Whose system is that? Karen opened her mouth, but nothing came out. She looked between me and the screen showing Freeline's interface. That's our internal systems, she finally managed. The executive wasn't satisfied. No, I mean, whose design is this? This isn't what we approved in the budget. I spoke before Karen could. It's mine. I built it after being reassigned to maintenance. Freeline automated most of the broken processes this department struggles with. The room erupted in whispers. Executives started asking technical questions. I answered each one clearly, professionally. Karen tried to interrupt twice. I talked over her both times. Tyler, sitting near the back, was grinning. Another executive pulled up something on her tablet. According to our records, Marcus, you haven't been on any innovation projects for 4 months. Correct, I said. I built this on my own time because I saw problems that needed solving. Karen finally found her voice. This was unauthorized work. He should have gotten approval before. The room turned cold. The lead executive looked at Karen like she was insane. He solved the crisis in under a minute with a system he built while doing grunt work. And you're concerned about approval? The meeting ended badly for Karen. Executives pulled her into a private office. I heard later they started asking questions about project attribution and management practices. Tyler told me. Someone pulled my documentation from the shared drives. The evidence I had been quietly saving for months. Emails showing Karen taking credit. Messages from team members complaining about her stealing work. Timestamp files proving who really built what. It all came out at once like a dam breaking. By Monday morning, Karen was on administrative leave. HR called me in for a statement. I brought printed copies of everything, organized chronologically. They asked if I felt discriminated against. I told them I felt erased. That Karen systematically took credit for my work and then demoted me when I became a threat to her image. They took notes. They asked careful questions. By Wednesday, 3 other employees had come forward with similar stories. Karen hadn't just done this to me. She had built her entire career on stealing from people she was supposed to lead. 2 weeks later, HR offered me Karen's job. Director of Innovation. Full salary, full benefits, corner office. I sat in that same glass box where she had demoted me and looked at the skyline. Gray clouds had cleared into blue sky. The executive who made the offer waited for my answer. She seemed confident I would accept. This is what you deserve, Marcus. A chance to lead the way you should have been leading all along. I thought about it. About having power. About vindication. Then I thought about who I would become in that role. Another person playing politics. Another manager taking credit. I looked at her and said something that surprised both of us. No, thank you. Her eyebrows went up. No, I appreciate the offer, but I'm done building for people who use others as tools. I'm resigning. She tried to convince me to stay. They needed people like me. They were changing the culture. But I had already made my decision. I wanted out. My resignation became official on a Friday. I took only what was mine. Freeline's source code. My documentation. My personal files. Nothing that belonged to Bridgepoint. Tyler caught me packing my desk. You're really doing this? I nodded. Starting my own thing. A company where people own part of what they create. No managers hoarding credit. No hierarchy built on stealing from talented people. He thought for a moment. You hiring? I grinned. You're my first employee. We shook hands. Over the next month, 3 other developers from Bridgepoint joined us. People who were tired of the old way. We called the company Freeline Solutions. Our pitch was simple. We built automation systems that made work human again. That gave time back to people instead of squeezing more from them. We worked from a shared office space. No private boxes with glass walls. No hierarchy. Everyone had equal say. Profits were shared based on contribution, not title. It felt right. It felt like something worth building. 6 months after I left, Bridgepoint started falling apart. Karen was gone, but the structure she represented remained. New managers came in with the same old habits. Projects failed. Clients left. The company that once led the industry became known for dysfunction. I heard about it from former co-workers who reached out asking if we were hiring. Meanwhile, Freeline Solutions exploded. Our software became the new standard for intelligent automation. Companies across 3 industries adopted it. We grew from 5 people to 20, then 40. Every employee owned equity. Nobody worked more than 45 hours a week. We built something sustainable and human. The irony wasn't lost on me. Karen tried to erase me and ended up making me more successful than I ever would have been under her. Tyler joked about it. She created her own competition. I just smiled. She created something better than competition. She created proof that another way was possible. Late one night, working on a new feature, I got an email. From Karen. The subject line said I need to explain. I stared at it for a full minute. My finger hovered over the delete button. Curiosity won. I opened it. The message was long and rambling. She talked about pressure from above. About impossible expectations. About how she felt trapped in a system that rewarded appearance over substance. She said she regretted what she did to me. That she was sorry. The last line said I destroyed her career. I read it twice. Then I closed the email and moved it to trash without responding. Tyler asked the next day if I was going to reply. No, I said. Why not? Because she still doesn't understand. She thinks I destroyed her. But she did that herself. Every choice she made. Every person she used. That wasn't about me. That was about who she chose to be. Tyler nodded. Fair enough. We went back to work building something that mattered. Something that helped people instead of using them. Sometimes late at night when the office is quiet, I think about that conference room. About seeing my work on screen with someone else's name. About the applause that should have been mine. I don't feel angry anymore. Not even satisfied exactly. Just clear. Karen wanted obedience. I built freedom. Not from revenge, though that was part of it. From repetition. From systems that break people down instead of building them up. Freeline Solutions wasn't just a company. It was proof that work could be different. That success didn't require stepping on others. That the best revenge wasn't destruction. It was creation. Building something so good that the people who doubted you had to watch it succeed without them. The servers hummed around me. Code scrolled across my screen. My team would arrive in a few hours, energized and valued. And I realized something important. The day I walked away from that glass office, that's when I became truly human again. Not a tool. Not a resource. Just a person building something worth building with people who mattered.